And you might find this first story maybe a little bit hard to believe because it involves James Corden. He was actually banned from a popular New York restaurant after he was accused of being abusive, verbally abusive to restaurant staff. Now, in an Instagram post, restaurant owner Keith McNally called him, quote, hugely gifted comedian, but a tiny cretin of a man who was extremely nasty and yelled at staff on 2 separate occasions at the restaurant. McNally now says the ban has been lifted only because Corden has actually called him and apologized profusely. We're a little bit baffled, Lainey, because James Corden's like bubbly, nice guy. So what gives here?
Well, that's why this is a story, right? Celebrities behaving badly and behaving in an entitled way and exercising their privilege and entitlement is not news. What makes this newsworthy is that James Corden's brand is, as you said, bubbly, and
nice
he
guy.
trades on nice. Those are the adjectives typically used to describe him. Nice, fun, singing, musical theater.
You'd want him to be your neighbor.
Yes, kind of like Ellen DeGeneres, right? And we all kind of know what happened. And this is why this is newsworthy.
I just feel like if he was black or brown, would we be having the same conversation? I found it very strange that it was 25 years of this abusive behavior before he was fully called out. So I just have questions about that. I think the news industry, when we're talking about the news cycle and hearing about hospitality industry, the restaurant industry, how much they have taken a hit, and is this any way to treat anybody, right? And I think from a brand partnership perspective, we've heard so many stories where people lose their brand partnerships, they lose their acting gigs, they lose their shows. Is this something that is acceptable behavior? At the same time, though, when I was reading the acceptance of the apology, I wondered if it was a little bit of a PR stunt, because he was saying, I believe in second chances, and I thought, is this a PR stunt to get attraction back to the restaurant?
I mean, you kind of, I'm sure there's a motivation a little bit there for all the reasons that you just said. Whenever I hear stories like this, because he's obviously not the first celebrity who's behaved badly in public or at a restaurant, for that matter, I think, did you come out that way, or did fame do this to you? And I mean, I don't know. Are any of us capable, given the right circumstances of everyone surrounding us, blowing smoke up our yin-yangs constantly, if we can all become kind of monsters, and if we're caught on the wrong day. The thing that bugs me about this story is that, it's twice that he's now done this. Twice on 2 separate
Same
occasions.
scene of the crime.
Same scene of the crime. So how many other scenes of the crime are there throughout Los Angeles, New York, wherever, what have you? And what's interesting to me, we were talking about this earlier, is his brand. His brand, like Ellen DeGeneres, is this kind of warm and fuzzy and fun. So I'm a bit more shocked, I don't know about if you are, than when I heard about Bill Murray. I don't know if he's been making the rounds lately.
Yeah.
Bill Murray, comedian, apparently very rotten to lots of people. This somehow didn't surprise me. That is his brand. He's a curmudgeon. I'm not excusing it, but there's something a little bit more disconnecting, don't you find?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I want to go back to the idea of call-out culture, because the restaurateur, Keith McNally, outed James on his Instagram. And this guy, Keith, is no slouch. He's got at least 80,000 Instagram followers, so he knew people would see it. And he owns at least 5, I think, New York City restaurants. He's got a lot. People were going to see this, and it was going to become a thing. So my question is, I'm not going to excuse James Corden. I do believe that he probably did all the things that he's accused of. But I'm curious, in call-out culture like this, was there a discussion had with James face-to-face first? Or is the knee-jerk reaction, I'm just going to out them on social media because I have an agenda to smear you? And I don't know. I think we have lost, in many ways, the art of face-to-face communication. At some point, after that first interaction, and everyone is told how abusive he was, wouldn't someone be like, hey, Keith, this guy, whatever, I don't care how famous he is, this is what he was doing. He came back a second time and was allowed to dine a second time. So that second time, if I'm a restaurant owner, it is my duty to protect my employees, which I'm probably thankful that they're even showing up for work every day because they've got other choices. And so my whole thing is, did he ever, Keith, say, James, come over here. We need to have a chat in the corner. You can't talk to my people like that. Or was the first reaction, I'm outing him on Instagram, which I do have a problem with.
Good question.
I do.
I don't know. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I get it. I mean, I think call-out culture has made lots of people uncomfortable. I think in this case, you know, as you're talking about the hospitality industry, it's difficult to turn someone away, and it's difficult to like have a face-to-face conversation with people who are famous. I mean, we deal with famous people all the time. I have, you know, for an almost 20-year career. And even with the access that we have in our position, it's hard when a celebrity comes in here and makes a list of demands and behaves poorly to step up and say, please don't treat our staff like that. Thank you so much. Like, I mean, and then say next time when a celebrity, I mean, we know of celebrities behaving badly all the time, to say no to that interview. Most broadcasters would not. If it's
We do have people that we haven't invited back on the show.
We have not invited them back, but a big enough name. I know, a big enough name. I've been in discussions and editorial discussions with broadcast teams where we have kind of just let certain things go because we don't want to lose access to that person, and we don't want the competition to lose access to that person, and it gets really complicated. And at the management and the service hospitality level, at that pay grade, you don't want to be making those decisions.
Sure,
and that's
I think
Keith
is going to be okay.
Keith is going to be fine, and James is going to be okay. Like, do we need to feel bad about James Corden? Like,
No.
He's gonna be all right.
multi-million dollars. So he got called out on social media. You're okay.
He's got other restaurants to eat at.
Hey there! Wasn't that great? Do you know where you can find some equally good content? Our YouTube page. It's filled with discussions, debates, and some laughs. Head there now, like and subscribe.